Man, I'm still getting excited about that promo video. It's our second time doing this, and I just love seeing it. It's like it's
Oh,
awesome.
I
But
got I got
greeting,
goosebumps.
hey man, thanks. Hey, greetings everyone. Welcome to episode 85 of the Death Taxes and Sports podcast. We're doing here to do a very special episode talking about the Florida Panthers. I have my good friend here. Hopefully, I'm not going to butcher his last name, but forgive me, Evan Charbonneau. How did I do?
He did perfect, man. I appreciate the
Awesome,
intro.
awesome. No doubt, no doubt, sir. How are you doing on this lovely afternoon? I don't know if it's cold where you're at, but it's a good 75 degrees here, and I'm in a good mood.
Oh, we're sunny and warm where I am, man.
And
Enjoying my Saturdays just like you, brother. It's a great day.
awesome, awesome. And how we came about doing this episode, I'd wanted to do one for the Florida Panthers because this type of run by your team, a team that was 1 point away from not making the playoffs, to beating my Boston Bruins when we were up 3-1. We lose overtime. Then you guys go on an incredible run, winning 12 of your 13 games. Such a phenomenal run. And I was like, man, I got to bring someone on. And literally, as I thought about it, I saw your video. Do you want to tell the viewers about your video?
Yeah, no, I'm just like anybody else, right? When you think something good's gonna happen, you want to get that moment, capture it. As soon as we went on the power play there with 2 minutes to go, I was like, I got to get this on video. You never know what could happen, right? And then lo and behold, Kachuk comes around that net and just buries it. And just the sensation and the rush of 27 years of just being lost out in the NHL world. In that moment, it just felt like as a fan base, a lot was lifted off our shoulders. And you can see it as I jump up, just excited, just that we finally did it.
I mean, and that's why that's why I love sports so much. It's because of these big underdog moments. And I feel that the NHL has more of these moments than any other sport. There's so many teams. You think about the LA Kings many years ago that were an 8 seed and won the Stanley Cup. And this is just one of those sports where it's like you just got to get hot at the right time. And it just happened to be at the expense of my Bruins. But we won't talk about that too much, man. But like I was saying, like I just want to know, like, how did you become a Panthers fan?
Uh, I originally grew up in Ontario, and at the time, everybody thinks you're a Leafs fan growing up in Ontario, but during that expansion year, you see the logo, you're a young kid, and then you just kind of gravitate to it. And I just slowly, because I was up at the time about 7 years old when they got started. I know I'm not like a lot of the people back home, back in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, being there, but seeing that logo and then you go fall in love with some of the players like John Van Beesbrook at the time, Ray Shepard, Dave Lowry, Scott Mellenby, and then my favorite player, and I hope he's watching, but yeah, we follow each other on Twitter. Bill Lindsay, who's amazing. He spent he's was a career Panther, and now he's down in Florida as a broadcaster for us. So just falling in love with that team, like I said, and seeing all those players.
I mean, like it's just crazy. And when you talk about Kachuk, and we're saying before the show, it's like I got to make sure I say this man's name right. But it's just crazy how people become fans of teams, right? Like I only became a Bruins fan because my buddy Ben, actually, who's one of the co-hosts who just who commented on here. We used to go to Providence College Bruins games back in 2010 and 2011, and then that next year they won the Stanley Cup. And I'm like, okay, I guess to be a Bruins fan. And then ever since then, they've been disappointing me ever since then. So it's always cool to hear about people's stories about how you're a Panthers fan. And we'll get to some other hockey stuff. But what other fans are you a team of? I mean, we're a sports podcast here. What other teams do you represent? You got some jerseys back there.
Oh, I got a few. I got the Browns. I'm a sucker for punishments. I got my Browns.
Oof.
I was a big Brady Quinn, Josh Gordon guy, and Tim Couch, so I'm a big Browns guy. Shout out to all my Nick fans out there.
And
then CFL football, we got the Blue Bombers, so the season ticket holder for that too. And then baseball, I was an Expos fan. They moved, and then I just kept following them as they played in Washington there.
Okay, I have a feeling that that Montreal is going to get another baseball team. I have a feeling.
I've been telling everybody, I think all the professional leagues, as crazy as it sounds, with the money that you can get from expansion, you'll see the big four all get the 36 teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, they were talking about, I know we were going to talk about hockey, but since you mentioned Montreal, there was an article that came out in The Athletic that talked about Montreal and this ownership group that has put a lot of money forward to try to get one of those expansion teams. And after reading about it, I'm like, you know what? Montreal, I think, would be a really, really, really dope market to definitely get baseball more in Canada, because I definitely think there is a market for it. But
Absolutely.
let's get to some more of this hockey. So, so we're going to go off. We're going to go off a tangent. So we were talking about my Bruins a lot. We were talking about this 3-1. You guys were down 3-1, and I really just want to know what your feelings were when you guys went down after 4 games, 3-1. Like, what were some of your emotions? What were some of your thoughts going through that? And did you actually think you could come back?
When I was watching that series, I'll be honest with you, like especially when you take the losses that we did at home in game 3 and game 4, they put, I think, about 13 goals on us over 2 games. Like it was a bit demoralizing, because you're just thinking it shows that everyone was right about us. It starts to get in your mind that, yeah, we didn't deserve to be there. The big bad Bruins, the best team in history, is running the floor with us. But I knew with this group, as you saw, especially come January, when we because that before the new year, we were about 16, 18, and 4, I believe it was. We weren't even remotely being talked about as a playoff contender. But come January, we started to get hot, and you could see during January, February, March, and April, the way we played, that there was a real possibility that if we could turn it around, this was the group to do it. Because we were one of the hottest teams starting January 1st in hockey. I think we had the second or the first best record in the new year heading into the playoffs. So I knew if we just need to get the first one. That was my mentality. I did that on Twitter too. Everybody, oh, we're done. See you next year. We're going golf. And I was like, we just need one. And we had beaten Boston at home in game, I think it was the second game there. So if we can do it, this is the group to do it. And when Marchand got stopped on that breakaway late in the third, you knew that was the moment we needed to get started.
Yeah, it's kind of like the opposite, where you had the Boston and South Florida teams, right? Because you had Florida down 3-1 against the Boston, you had the Florida Panthers down 3-1 against the Boston Bruins, and then you had Miami, who's up 3-0, and now they could potentially lose the series. So it's kind of just like you know what I mean? It's just right? Like, now that I'm thinking about this, it's just kind of like the parallel universes and how it's crazy. But like, the Panthers played the Bruins in all 4 of those first games, like, pretty kind of tough. Like, it wasn't, I mean, there might have been maybe one game, I forgot the score of it. Maybe there was one game where we outplayed. But I think that for the most part, you guys have really stuck it to us. And during the regular season, you guys won 1 or 2 games, I do believe. Yeah. So I think you guys had a winning record against the Bruins in the regular season, right?
I think we split. I think we each got 2 wins each.
Okay. So, I mean, even with that, it's kind of like, I mean, yeah, it was AC, but there are just some teams that you typically play tougher against. And yeah, I think that this was just a bad matchup for the Bruins, honestly, because I think you guys are playing very tough.
Yeah, and I know going into the playoffs, I know I told people that you look at the 2-2 record. They, like you said, they didn't every game too. I believe during the regular season, apart from one, they were all 1-goal games. Whether it be overtime shootout or we just lose by 1 or Bruins lose, but they were all close. Like you said, the way they played each other, even just during those 4 games in the regular season, you knew that if this was the matchup, it was going to be a grind.
Exactly. And we always talked, and before the show, we talked about like that mental edge with hockey, where it's like, I felt like your Panthers really had nothing to lose because no one expected you guys to make it. And I felt like all the pressure was on Boston, right? Team that had the best regular season, the best points, the best goal differential. I mean, every major statistical category that you can think of, they had the best. And so you're thinking about the Florida Panthers from their psyche. We're like, hey, we're already here. We have nothing to lose. We're down 3. I'm like, you know what? We're just going to go and we're going to play. We're going to just play our best hockey and just do whatever.
Right. And that's the way Paul Maurice has coached this team this year. He's always stated that this team was built for playoff hockey. You know, with our top 6 the way it is, and we brought in these veterans on, the minimum salary. This team was built. Whether we, even if we didn't get to where we are now, you can tell that the way they're playing, it was designed for, like you said, the mentality and the long grind of a playoff, like for spring hockey.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
Like,
going to be, yeah. I mean, it's going to be quite exciting to see here. It is. So I want to, but after you guys, but to be able to make it to the Stanley Cup, what has the past several seasons mean for you to be able to now finally make it to the Stanley Cup? Do you feel like it's Stanley Cup or bust, or just how just what does this mean for you since these past several seasons of pain?
oh, it's like I said, you look back, and I don't know if I speak for every Panthers fan, but you look at the past seasons before this moment, even not even the previous four, but even further back, all the jokes, like, nobody shows up, and there were times where we were barely half. All the relocation talks, Quebec City, Kansas City, Houston, like, some of the joke moments too, where we had one general manager that fired our coach and put him in a taxi cab and sent them home. The poor draft picks, terrible contracts, retired guys coming down to enjoy the sun. And just to see the last 4 years, the buildup and culminating to get to this moment, it's just like I said, 27 years of just a struggle, being the laughing stock of the league, and now showing everybody that we're the real deal, that it's our time finally, and that I don't know if it's Stanley Cup or bust, because it's just we're enjoying the ride, man. It has been such a fun ride. We've beaten the three best teams in the East to get here. I mean, we're going to enjoy this moment no matter who we play in the Cup final, and I think it's setting the tone for the years to come.
And I think that's important, because once when you have that championship DNA, it's infectious, it's contagious, it's one of those things that you just want to keep going. And so you hope your general manager, who I read about, very interesting guy, big baseball guy, he wanted to play hockey, but then it didn't work out. He was an agent, and as we're talking, do you feel that the way, and they were saying in this article how agents always, and he studied law, where it always, one, talks about finding the best solution, and two, you understand the psyche of a player, meaning you understand their mental health, you make sure that they're physical, that they're in top physical shape, that they have a infrastructure around them to be successful. And do you think that because of that mindset, do you think that has helped this team be successful and be able to make this run to the Stanley Cup?
Oh, 100%. You can see it with Zito, the way he conducts himself with this group. I think one of the pivotal moments, and and like you said, with the mental health and building confidence, one of the pivotal moments I found is that even though we were on the cusp of just making the playoffs, right around the trade deadline, he came out and said that I'm not making any moves. This is the group that, if we're going to do it, this is the group that'll do it. He flat out said right to the world that I trust the 23 guys I've assembled to do what we need to do. And you can see with the coaching staff and management, you can see it with the players that they have bought in, like you said, into this culture that as a group, there's nothing that can stop us. And they're playing that way.
You can see that the time that they do the transitions between their lines, you can see that they're skating with a level of confidence. Sometimes bringing in a new player can really destroy the chemistry or the synergy within a team, because when you're bringing in a player at the trade deadline, they didn't necessarily go through the same type of battles as you guys were when trying to be able to build the synergy, trying to come together as a team. And I think that this is one of the greatest comeback stories, I think, in sports history. When you're talking about a team that was literally 1 point away from missing the playoffs, no one was talking about them. And no disrespect, but it's in South Florida. You don't necessarily think about hockey in South Florida.
No, it's especially down in South Florida. But like you said, we were 1 point out, and for that one night when the Chicago Blackhawks beat the Penguins, I think I speak for all Panthers fans. We were diehard Blackhawk fans that night to get us in. But yeah, that's the thing about our team. Like, we're, like you said, even though we're in South Florida, a huge market, we're not spoken about a lot. We're quiet. We're hidden down there because you got the Heat, you got the Marlins, He had Tampa Bay winning, cups, and we were always just quietly just hanging around and waiting for that right opportunity. And to see it this year, and it all started, and I know Calgary fans are going to hate me. It all started when we got Tkachuk.
He got traded in 20. Did he come
The
in
summer,
2020? Was it
the
2020?
summer
I believe
before.
he came. Okay,
Yeah,
the
last summer.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and let's talk about this guy Tkachuk, because there's been a lot of talk about him in the hashtag time to hunt. Give him a shout out to your Panthers fans. Why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about this guy? Because this guy has a very interesting story, and he has made some of the craziest goals at the most clutch moments.
Oh, he's what, 24, I believe, 25, and just he plays like, with a passion, a grind. He's not afraid to get hit, give a hit, go to the net, get in your face, get punched in the face. Like, he chirps. I find he talks a lot and he chirps, but he backs it up, and you can see in the way he plays, he's willing to put everything on the line. Like, you see in this playoffs, like, he's diving at pucks, he's blocking shots, he's getting into the corners, and just quietly taking over games with his scoring. Like you said, just it's amazing, because when we traded him for last year for him, it shocked the organization, because you lose a guy like Huberdeau, who had been there from day one since we drafted him. He was one of our key components. Mackenzie Weegar, who loves the city. And then we throw in a conditional first-round pick, which really stung, because you're giving him two high-end players in a first-round pick, and then a really top prospect. But when we got him, we knew that this was a sign of things to come, because we got a 24-year-old star locked in now for 9 years in his prime. Let's be honest, it's his prime years, and it's showing why we did what we did to get him.
And it's nice to live in South Florida with no state income tax, so to be making that money with no state income tax, because I can only imagine playing like in California, where it's just high tag. I don't know why I'm just thinking about that. I'm just saying it's not a bad place.
No better feeling than getting your golf cart and going to the rink.
Exactly. And another guy, we're just going to call him Bob, your goalkeeper.
Yeah, but
93, right? A 94% save percentage, which is just absolutely insane. And he, I just want to talk about this guy, because he is just playing lights out right now.
Oh, it's great to see, because this year has been, because last year he was phenomenal for us when we won the President's Trophy. He gets over 40 wings. He's incredible. This year he struggled a bit. There were some injuries. He just wasn't quite himself all year. And thank goodness we had Alex Lyon and some guys coming in behind to help fill that gap while he was trying to get it sorted out, because there was games where it just didn't seem right. Come playoff time, I think what helped if light a fire under him and get that confidence back is when we started Alex Lyon, games 1 and 2 there, and 3, and just when you're the guy, I think it hurts to see. You want to support the number 2, but it hurts to see your job taken away. So when he got that opportunity in game 4, I feel like you could see that he wasn't going to lose it again. And the way, like you said, he's playing unbelievable right now. This is why you get a guy like him for these moments, and it's great to see him turn it around after such a struggle this year. And just you can see it in the group too, that no matter what happens, whether they're down 1-0, down 2-0, up 2-1, they trust him right now. They know that they've got this.
Yeah, and I think that it really just be paramount to Zito. And I always think of Zito, I always think of Barry Zito, the baseball player from the Oakland days. I can't help but think about it. It's crazy the mental type of edge to be able to persevere and to be able to come back where you're the top guy. You kind of lose your job, then you come back. And I think that that's what just makes this story about this Florida Panthers team so great, because you think about all the different pieces. You think about not making any moves really at the trade deadline, to the story of your lawyer and Zito and your general manager. You think about Bob, you think about just your forwards. It's just every individual has their own story, and how it's gone from the season that you guys had last year to not really being talked about, to finally being able to make it to this type of moment. So Looks like we got a question here. So there's two questions. So what type of feelings or emotions would you feel if they made the incredible run but lost the Stanley Cup?
Like, I mean, like, it would sting. I'm not gonna lie. Anybody that gets to the peak, the pinnacle, right? It would hurt, but I would be just be happy. I would look back, like you said, on the season we've had, being not even talked about, to the incredible run getting into the playoffs, to beating the best team historically in hockey. Then we go into Toronto and we win every game on the road in probably one of the tougher Canadian markets to play in, and then we sweep Carolina, one of our biggest rivals. Like, I think if and I'm just saying if we weren't to win it, I would still be I'd be hurt, but I'd be incredibly happy with the season we've had.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's facts. And then just another question from our esteemed co-host. Do you feel more confident? Who do you feel more confident going against, Dallas or Vegas? And I think that's a good segue into the next segment.
I think right now the way we're playing, uh, right now, I definitely would like us to play Vegas, because Vegas plays that similar style to Boston. They can grind it out. And I think just the way we're playing, I think we'd match up well with both teams. But the way it's going right now, it looks like we're gonna get Vegas. Like, I'm gonna be honest, Stars fans don't be mad at me, but it'd be tough to come down 3-0. But and if they do it, that'd be incredible. But if it's us in Vegas, I think we match up very well. If we were to play them, I think we'd pull it out in 6. But it's gonna be a grind. It's going to be a real grind, that series. A lot of travel. You're going Vegas to Fort Lauderdale, and it's going to be a great series, whoever we play, and I'm looking forward to it. Just like I said, 27 years in the making. I'm going to enjoy this moment.
And then Vegas being the expansion team from several years ago, them making history themselves.
Yeah,
I think having two franchises that have had two different paths to ascending to this moment, where Vegas made it to the Stanley Cup, lost to the Capitals fans, or lost to the Capitals. Give a shout out to all my Capitals fans out there. But the way that I look at this Vegas team, and we had an episode back in March with some Las Vegas Knights fans, and the research that I was doing, what I found is that this team is a very balanced team offensively. They didn't have too many players score more than 25 goals. They're very, very, very balanced. And I saw that their shots per attempt, they were 12th in the league at 30.1.
Yeah.
Right. So it's still in the top half, but it's not necessarily something that has been just absolutely crazy. And I think that they match up with you guys very well, because both of your teams are very well balanced. And it's going to, I want to ask you this question. Do you think it's going to be the team that makes the least mistakes that win? Or do you think it's based on pure skill? What do you think?
I think if it's us in Vegas, it's going to be similar to the Carolina series. It's going to take, because we both match up very well at 5-on-5. It's going to take special teams, and like you said, it's going to be whoever pounces on those chances. Because you saw in the Carolina series, power play played a pivotal role in each team scoring. So I think it's going to come down to the missed opportunities, the chances, and who's going to bury them, because we weren't getting much more than 20 shots a game against Carolina, but we were still, capitalizing on our opportunities and winning those tight games. It's going to be interesting, but I think, I agree with you. It's going to come down to who doesn't make the most mistakes and who can capitalize on their chances.
Yeah, and so who would you say is a key player from your team outside of Bob and Tkachuk that can make the difference?
Right now, you see Sam Bennett. He's one that comes to mind. He's hitting like a freight train right now. He's changing games with just his forechecking, and then you see Reinhart as well, Sam Reinhart. He's the top 6 forward playing on the third line for us right now, which goes to show his leadership. That he's willing to take that role for the betterment of the team. That he slide down there. And Anthony Duclair is another one. I think he is bound to break out. He's there every game. He's gotten a couple goals, but I think he's due to break out, and this would be a great opportunity for Duke to just take over a game or a
Okay,
series.
nice. So that that's going to be very interesting. I think that the match is probably going to be Vegas, but you never know.
Yeah,
Dallas could pull a y'all in the first round and
yeah.
come back. You just never know.
It,
So they're gonna have
crazier things have happened this year, right?
right. I mean, they live to fight another day. I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm very, very, very excited about this matchup with you guys against the Knights. But just kind of finishing up here, speaking for all the hashtag Time to Hunt fans, winning this championship over 27 years, there's got to be some more emotions at the prospect of winning the Stanley Cup. And what's special about it, a lot of people don't realize, it's one trophy. They don't make more of them.
No.
So they travel, they go from team to team. That's what makes this so special. What would it mean for all the fans? Like, there has to be some more emotions. There has to be some more thoughts at the prospect of it.
I'm already getting goosebumps thinking about it. Trying not to tear up what it could mean.
It's all good, man. Show your emotion.
It'd be it's hard to describe, man. Like I said, I'm getting goosebumps. It would be, we're almost 30 years old. We're gonna be 30 years old this year, and just it would be just the world, man. It would be, like I said, it's a culmination of just hard times, being the laughing stock, always being talked about, being moved, and just nobody taking us seriously. We were always, never thought of, and just it would just be, oh man, it would mean everything. If I had the money, I'd be at the Stanley Cup final if I could, but it would just a childhood dream come true. The last time I watched it, I was 10 years old, and to see my team in the cup final again in my lifetime and to win it would be so incredible, man. I
mean, that's real, man. I can feel the emotion from the screen, and I always tell people, like, you never know when you guys are going to get there again. You never know. So when you win those championships, you have to embrace that moment and you have to think about it. I mean, I know it's going off topic with baseball here, but I remember meeting some Cubs fans who have had family members who passed away and never saw their team win that championship, and then for that city to win it, the fans, I mean, I get the same feeling as you. I can just feel the emotion. Yeah. And that's what we love about sports so much, because it brings people together through the good times and through the bad. And I mean, man, I'm pulling for y'all. I know y'all beat my squad, but I'm pulling for y'all just because I love the emotion that you have. But before we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to say to the Time to Hunt Nation here? You got the floor. It's all you.
To all my Panthers fans, it's incredible. Let's enjoy this moment. It's 30 plus. It's 30 years as a franchise, 27 long years since we've gotten to this point. Let's keep supporting the guys. Let's give them everything we can. Show up to the rink. Let's let them know that they can do this. We know they can. And let's just be ready for whatever comes and enjoy this moment. Like, it's a culmination of a long time coming, and let's really just let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy the ride. Hey. It's been one hell of a ride.
Hey, cheers to that, man. Cheers to that. And so, sir, I appreciate you coming on. I look forward to seeing how you guys do game one, assuming that they play Vegas. We'll see what happens. Dallas is a pesky little team. We will see. But every guest that we bring on the show, we like to give them a time to say, are there any projects that you work on? Is there anything that you would like to tell the viewers, your Twitter, so people can follow?
I got my Twitter handle here. It's F53Vander. I'm hoping to start a podcast or sports shows, but I'm definitely I tweet out about it a lot. I do different, like, I I'm the Manitoba Twitter captain for the Panthers. I do video editing. I'm sure some people have seen it. I take the amazing Doug Plagans, who does our radio play-by-play. I take the audio clips he shares and I cross-reference it onto a video so that you can just get that, especially that Tkachuk goal. I wanted everybody to feel like I felt, man, just that emotion through Doug's voice of the long time coming on video, because you don't really get to see it when he's on radio, right? So I work with Doug, and we put those audio files on video. But no, I just I love talking sports with anybody that wants to have me. I'm always bouncing around on some shows, and I thank you for having me. This was great. Like I said, I got goosebumps from the video and our discussions here. Thanks for giving me that floor to share the passion of the Panthers. And I'm hoping that, we'll do this again at some time.
We'll definitely have to bring you. We'll definitely have to bring you back on. Maybe talk a little bit of NHL draft. NHL draft is going to be very interesting. Blackhawks got that first overall pick and got that talented kid whose name I do not remember, but that's going to be interesting. But we'll talk about that a different day, sir. Glad to have you on. The one thing is that sports is my passion for a reason. It's these moments because people, it's just you think about how bad your teams can be, and then you're sticking through them through the good into the bad. I'm hoping my Denver Broncos can not disappoint this year. We'll see. We'll see if Russ can cook. I don't even want him cooking. I just want him to make the ingredients. You can put the ingredients together. So
you and me both, man. I got Deshaun, hoping this is our year. So
man, and real quick, how are you feeling about Deshaun, man? How are you feeling? He's been out for 2 years. I'm gonna give him a little bit of slack. I'm gonna give him a little bit of grace, being out for so long. But how are you feeling?
I feel great. I think last year was like you said, 2 years rusty. I think this is our year that he comes around and we see the old Deshaun. We got him the weapons now. It's up to him. There's a chance that we might sneak a D-Hop and then have it Amari and D-Hop. Come on. There'd be no excuses.
That would be lethal. And then your running game is, top notch. So
unheard of with Nick Chubb. Like you just hand him the ball, right?
Yeah, and then still with Kareem Hunt and Dearness Johnson, I still think you guys have him.
Kareem's gone. We still got Johnson. There's talks we might get Henderson, the former Rams running back there, to slide in at the 2 spot.
Really? Where did Dearness Johnson go? I didn't even know that. I'll have to look that up.
Kareem's gone, but we might get Henderson to fill behind. Okay,
hey, good stuff, man. But hey, make sure you guys give out. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say thanks again for having me before you close out here.
No doubt. Make sure you give Mr. Evan. I'm not even going to try to butcher his last name again. Charbonneau. There we go.
Ready to go.
Make sure y'all check out Evan Charbonneau's Twitter account at 53Vander. I fully endorse it. To all of our fans, to all of our listeners, we appreciate all the support. Good luck to the Florida Panthers. And until next time, y'all be safe.